You have been carrying something that was never just yours. Before we go any further, before we talk about quantum fields or electromagnetic signatures, or the precise mechanics of how your aura broadcasts to reality, I want you to sit with that for a moment. Because what you are about to discover tonight is not about building something new. It is not about acquiring a power you don't have. It is about recognizing what has been moving through you your entire life. Something older than your name, older than your memories, older than the version of yourself you show the world. It is the accumulated electromagnetic inheritance of every person in your lineage who survived long enough to pass something forward. Your bloodline remembers you, not as a metaphor, not as a comfort phrase, as a measurable biological, energetically encoded reality that your body has been carrying since before you drew your first breath. And tonight, something in that inheritance is ready to become conscious. Here is what most people never learn about their own energy field. The aura you broadcast to the quantum field every single moment of every single day is not generated only by your present experiences, your current thoughts, your recent emotional states. It is also shaped profoundly and specifically by the epigenetic memory encoded in your cells, the fears your grandmother survived, the resilience your grandfather built under pressure that would have broken most people, the grief that moved through your lineage and transformed into something harder and more luminous on the other side. All of it is written into your biology, and all of it is radiating. The question is not whether your ancestral field is active. It has always been active. The question is whether you are radiating it consciously or whether it is running underneath your awareness, broadcasting patterns you never chose, responses you inherited but never examined, frequencies that were forged in circumstances that no longer apply to your life. Tonight, that changes. Because there is a specific window in the energetic calendar of your personal field when ancestral frequencies become more accessible, more legible, more ready to be consciously claimed and directed. And you are sitting inside that window right now, not because of a date on a calendar, though timing matters in ways we will explore, because you are here, because something in you navigated toward this transmission, because your field, the one that has been broadcasting unconsciously for years, is ready to become a conscious instrument. If this is landing for you, here is something I want to share. Have you spent years trying to feel lit up again? Visualizations, affirmations, vibration work, and the light still won't hold? Every one of those methods is telling you to push harder, do more, add another technique. It's not working, because the issue isn't that you don't have enough light. 6 specific patterns are sitting on top of it. They're called the frequencies of forgetting. The remembering field, a quantum guide to returning to the light. You forgot you were carrying walks through all 5 parts of getting those patterns off you. Every tool you used tried to add more light. This one lifts what's been sitting on the light you already carry. The longer you wait, the harder they get to clear. So go open it tonight. The link is in the pinned comment below. Now let us return to the exact mechanics of how your field becomes a conscious instrument. Let me show you exactly what is happening in your energy field at the ancestral level, and why the moment you become conscious of this particular signal, your radiance changes in ways that are not incremental. They are foundational. Your aura is not a single layer. This is the first thing to understand, and it is specific enough that it will reshape how you think about every energy practice you have ever encountered. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart, the one the Heart Math Institute has measured extending 8 to 10 feet beyond your physical body in every direction, is the outermost and most powerful broadcast layer of your personal field. But it is not broadcasting in isolation. It is broadcasting through a layered system of energetic information. And one of those layers is biological memory. Epigenetics is the science of how experience writes itself into gene expression without changing the DNA sequence itself. This is not fringe science. This is one of the most active and well-documented fields in contemporary biology. The research of Dr. Rachel Yehuda at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai demonstrated that the children and grandchildren of Holocaust survivors showed measurable differences in cortisol regulation, the same biological stress response signature, without having experienced the original trauma themselves. The memory of survival, the biological encoding of extreme stress followed by extreme resilience, had been passed forward through the epigenome. What this means for your energy field is specific and extraordinary. The patterns of stress response, of hypervigilance, of grief, of extraordinary endurance, of sudden grace under impossible pressure, that your ancestors encoded through their lived experience are not just psychological inheritances. They are biological ones. They are written into the regulatory mechanisms of your cells. And because your heart generates its electromagnetic field, by reading the entire biological state of your body, including the cellular patterns shaped by epigenetic inheritance, your aura is broadcasting ancestral information constantly. Some of that information is protective, some of it is limiting. Most of it has never been examined. And here is the part that changes everything. The heart math research on heart rate variability coherence shows that when the heart enters a state of high coherence, when its rhythm becomes smooth, ordered, and mathematically regular, rather than chaotic and reactive, the electromagnetic field it generates becomes dramatically more organized, more powerful, and more capable of influencing the fields around it. A coherent heart field does not just broadcast more strongly, it broadcasts more clearly. The signal-to-noise ratio improves. What reaches the quantum field is a cleaner, more intentional transmission. When you bring your heart into coherence while consciously engaging your ancestral inheritance, something specific happens. The epigenetic patterns that have been running as unconscious background noise, broadcasting their frequencies without your direction, come into contact with a coherent field state. And coherence, by its nature, tends to organize what it touches. This is electromagnetic induction at the biological level. A coherent field induces greater order in the fields it encounters. This is not mysticism. This is the physics of field interaction, and it is the precise mechanism by which conscious ancestral engagement can shift what your aura is broadcasting. But let me be specific about what I mean by ancestral powers, because this phrase gets used in ways that are vague and sometimes misleading. And you deserve precision. Your ancestors were not uniformly powerful or wise or light-filled. They were human beings who lived through circumstances that required specific capacities to survive. What they developed under that pressure, what they encoded into their biology and passed forward, includes both the wounds and the gifts. The hypervigilance that kept someone alive in a dangerous landscape becomes an anxiety pattern in a safe one. The capacity to endure extreme hardship without breaking becomes a tendency to stay in painful situations longer than necessary. The fierce protectiveness that kept a family unit intact through persecution becomes a controlling pattern in relationships that don't require that level of defense. These are not failures of your ancestors. They are the inevitable double-sidedness of adaptive response. Every survival capacity has a shadow in a context where the original threat no longer exists. And this is precisely why tonight matters. Not to romanticize your lineage, not to bypass the real work of examining inherited patterns, but to do something more precise and more powerful. To consciously separate the adaptive gift from the contextual wound, to claim the capacity while releasing the trigger, to activate the strength without inheriting the fear that originally generated it. Your bloodline remembers you. And part of what it is waiting for is for you to remember it back clearly enough to choose what you carry forward. Let me tell you about Miriam. Miriam was the kind of woman who moved through the world with a peculiar combination of extraordinary competence and persistent exhaustion. She was the person everyone called in a crisis, the one who knew what to do when everything fell apart, the one whose presence alone seemed to stabilize a chaotic situation. She had built a career on this capacity, a life on it, and she was quietly, privately, running on empty in a way she couldn't explain. She would tell people she was fine. She believed it, mostly. But there was a frequency underneath her days that felt like waiting. Like she was always scanning for the thing that was about to go wrong. Like the calm moments in her life were not rest, but preparation for the next emergency. She had never been in a war. She had never experienced the kind of displacement or persecution that shaped her grandmother's early life. But her grandmother, a woman who had survived circumstances that would have destroyed most people, had encoded something into her biology that Miriam had inherited without knowing it. The hypervigilance, the capacity to function under extreme stress, the ability to hold a family together through sheer force of will when everything external was falling apart. These were gifts. They were also running constantly, even when there was no emergency to manage. Miriam did not need to heal her grandmother's trauma. That is a different conversation, important but distinct. What Miriam needed was to become conscious of what her field was broadcasting. Because what she was radiating, that constant low-frequency scan for danger, that readiness for emergency signal, was being read by the quantum field and confirmed. Reality was assembling around her broadcast, not because she was creating emergencies, but because her field was tuned to them. She was the person people called in a crisis, partly because her field was always broadcasting crisis readiness, and that frequency was legible to everyone around her at a level below conscious thought. The moment Miriam became conscious of this, something shifted. Not immediately, not all at once, but the recognition itself changed the broadcast. Because a conscious signal is not the same as an unconscious one. When she could feel the hypervigilance in her field and name it as an inherited pattern rather than a present moment truth, she had a choice she had never had before. She could choose to bring her heart into coherence. She could choose to access the strength underneath the vigilance, the genuine capacity for grace under pressure, without the constant low-grade alarm that had been the carrier frequency for that strength. She didn't lose the gift. She separated it from the wound, and her field changed. The people who called her in a crisis still called. But she also started drawing different things, situations that required her competence without requiring emergency. Relationships that felt stable rather than perpetually on the edge of needing her to hold them together. Her field had been broadcasting a specific invitation, and when she changed the broadcast, the invitations changed. This is the ancestral activation that is available to you tonight, not the acquisition of something foreign. The conscious claiming of what has always been moving through you, separated from the contextual fear that was its original carrier. Now I want you to do something specific, and I want you to do it now. Not after the video, not when you have more time, but in this moment, because the window you are sitting in is real, and your field is primed for exactly this kind of contact. Place both hands over your heart, not lightly, with genuine pressure, enough that you can feel the warmth of your own hands against your chest. Close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze if you need to stay oriented to the screen. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 5. Let the breath fill your chest first, then your belly. Hold gently at the top for just a moment. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6 or 7, letting the breath carry out any tightness, any held quality in your chest. Do this 3 times before we continue. As you breathe, I want you to direct your attention not to your thoughts, but to the space inside your chest where your hands are resting. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have demonstrated that intentionally focusing attention on the heart area while breathing in this rhythm is sufficient to begin shifting the heart into a more coherent state. The smooth, ordered rhythm begins to emerge. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart begins to organize. Now, while you hold that attention, I want you to bring to mind one person from your lineage. Not necessarily someone you knew well, not necessarily someone whose story you know in detail, just someone who came before you, who lived, who endured something, who passed something forward that eventually reached you. It might be a grandparent. It might be a great-grandparent whose name you barely know. It might be an ancestor so far back they exist only as a felt sense of someone who was there. You don't need a clear picture. You don't need their full story. You need only to acknowledge that they existed, that they carried something, and that some of what they carried is moving through you right now. Feel your hands on your heart. Feel the warmth there. And now, silently or aloud, say this: I receive the strength. I release the wound. I carry forward the gift. Say it again. I receive the strength. I release the wound. I carry forward the gift. One more time. I receive the strength. I release the wound. I carry forward the gift. What you just did is not ceremonial. It is not symbolic in the hollow sense of the word. It is a coherent state, engagement, with an epigenetically encoded pattern. You brought your heart into a more organized electromagnetic state. You directed conscious attention to an inherited frequency. And you made a specific declaration about what you choose to amplify and what you choose to release. That declaration, made from a coherent heart state, is a different kind of signal than a thought made in ordinary mental chatter. It has field weight. It carries. If this transmission is landing for you, if you can feel something in your field responding to what we are exploring together, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe so we can keep going deeper into this work together. Now let's go deeper into the mechanics, because understanding what is actually happening in your energy field when you engage your ancestral inheritance is what makes this practice sustainable rather than a one-time experience. The heart's electromagnetic field is the strongest biological field in the human body. The electrical component is approximately 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain's electrical activity. The magnetic component is approximately 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field. This is not a marginal difference. This is a different order of magnitude. The heart is not a secondary broadcaster in your energy system. It is the primary one. And here is what matters specifically for ancestral activation. The heart does not generate its field from a single source of information. It reads and integrates the entire biological state of the body. Hormonal levels, nervous system tone, cellular stress markers, immune system activity, and yes, the epigenetic regulatory patterns that shape how your cells respond to environmental signals. When your heart generates its electromagnetic field, it is broadcasting an integrated signal that includes all of these layers. This means that the epigenetic patterns you carry from your lineage are already part of your broadcast. They have always been part of it. The hypervigilance, the endurance, the grief that transformed into something harder and more luminous, the fierce protectiveness, the capacity for joy under constraint, all of it is already in your field. The question is whether it is running as unconscious noise or as conscious signal. Here is the specific difference, and this is the piece that most people never reach. An unconscious epigenetic pattern broadcasts at its original frequency, the frequency at which it was encoded. For a survival pattern, that frequency is typically high alert, resource conservation, threat detection. It is a frequency shaped by scarcity and danger. When this pattern broadcasts unconsciously, it is broadcasting a signal that says the world is dangerous, resources are limited, threat is imminent. And the quantum field, which does not evaluate the truth of a signal, but simply responds to its frequency, assembles reality around that broadcast. When you bring that same pattern into conscious awareness, when you engage it from a coherent heart state and make a deliberate choice about what aspect of it you are amplifying, you change the frequency. You are not erasing the pattern. You are not denying that it exists. You are accessing its adaptive core, the genuine strength, the real capacity that was developed under pressure, and broadcasting that without the fear frequency that was its original carrier. The strength without the alarm, the endurance without the exhaustion, the protectiveness without the hypervigilance, the capacity for grace under pressure without the need for pressure to access it. This is the ancestral power that is available to you, not a romanticized version of your lineage, the actual distilled capacity that was forged by their lives and encoded into your biology. Let me be specific about some of the most common ancestral capacities and what they look like when they are running unconsciously versus when they are consciously activated. The capacity for endurance. In its unconscious form, this broadcasts as a tolerance for suffering, a tendency to stay in painful situations, a belief that difficulty is the normal texture of life, and that ease is somehow suspect. People with this pattern in their field often draw situations that require them to endure, not because they are creating suffering, but because their field is broadcasting a frequency that says, "This is what I know. This is what I can do. This is the terrain I am calibrated for." In its consciously activated form, this capacity becomes extraordinary, staying power in the pursuit of something meaningful. The ability to remain present through difficulty without being destroyed by it. The deep roots that allow a person to bend in the storm without breaking. This is not the same as tolerating suffering. It is the capacity to remain in contact with your purpose, even when the path is hard. The capacity for protection. In its unconscious form, this broadcasts as guardedness, as walls that keep out not only threat, but also intimacy, as a scanning quality that reads other people primarily for danger. In its consciously activated form, this becomes a fierce and discerning clarity about what you allow into your field, your life, your relationships. Not fear-based exclusion, but wisdom-based boundaries. The difference between a wall and a door with a lock you control. The capacity for adaptation. In its unconscious form, this broadcasts as shape-shifting, as losing yourself in the presence of others, as a tendency to become what the environment requires, rather than what you actually are. This is the survival strategy of someone whose ancestors had to adapt rapidly to survive displacement, persecution, or social environments where being too visible was dangerous. In its consciously activated form, this becomes extraordinary social intelligence, the ability to meet people where they are without losing your own frequency, to move fluidly through different contexts while remaining anchored in your own field. The capacity for grief. This one is rarely talked about as a power, but it is one of the most significant ancestral gifts in many lineages. In its unconscious form, this broadcasts as a heaviness, a melancholy that doesn't have a clear source, a weight in the chest that seems to belong to something larger than your own personal history. In its consciously activated form, grief capacity becomes the ability to feel things fully, to metabolize loss without being destroyed by it, to hold the weight of what matters without collapsing under it. People who carry activated grief capacity in their field are often the ones others seek out when they are in pain, because there is something in their presence that says, "I can hold this with you." That is not a small thing. That is a profound form of radiance. I want to pause here and ask you something, because your experience matters in this space. Have you ever felt your own aura shift? A moment when you walked into a room and something changed? When people responded to you differently? When you could feel your own field activate in a way that was almost tangible? Share it in the comments below. These moments of personal radiance are worth naming. And your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to recognize their own. Now, I want to tell you about someone else. His name was Daniel. Daniel came from a long line of people who had been required to make themselves small. not metaphorically, literally. His family had moved across borders multiple times over several generations, always arriving as outsiders, always needing to demonstrate that they were not a threat, not a burden, not too much. The strategy had worked. They had survived. They had built lives. But the strategy had also encoded itself into the family field in a specific way, a tendency to minimize, to preemptively apologize, to occupy less space than was available, to speak quietly, even when what they had to say mattered. Daniel was a gifted teacher. He knew things about his subject that his students needed. He had a way of explaining difficult concepts that made them suddenly simple and luminous. But he delivered his knowledge in a voice that was perpetually slightly apologetic, as if he was sorry for taking up the time, as if he wasn't quite sure his understanding was worth the space it required. His students learned from him anyway, because the content was good. But they didn't feel the full force of what he knew, because his field was broadcasting smallness, while his mind was broadcasting brilliance. And the quantum field, reading his broadcast, confirmed the smallness. He was passed over for opportunities. He was not the person people thought of when they thought of authority in his field. He was the quiet one, the good one, the one who was always somehow slightly overlooked. Daniel did not need to become arrogant. He did not need to perform confidence he didn't feel. He needed to recognize that the smallness in his field was not his. It was an inherited strategy that had served a specific purpose in a specific context, and that context was gone. His ancestors had made themselves small to survive. He was making himself small out of cellular habit, broadcasting a frequency that said, "Please don't notice me too much." And reality was obliging. When Daniel began working with his ancestral field consciously, what he found underneath the smallness was something extraordinary. The generations of people who had moved quietly through hostile environments had developed a very specific skill. They had learned to carry enormous internal richness in a small external container. They had become masters of depth, of interiority, of knowing things profoundly without needing to announce them. The smallness was the wound. The depth was the gift. When Daniel began broadcasting the depth instead of the apology, when he brought his heart into coherence and consciously amplified the capacity for profound knowing, rather than the strategy of minimization, his field changed. He didn't get louder. He got denser, more present. The quality of attention in a room shifted when he spoke, not because he was performing authority, but because his field was now broadcasting something real and concentrated, rather than something apologetic and thin. His students started leaning forward. The opportunities started finding him. He hadn't acquired anything new. He had separated the gift from the wound, and his radiance changed. What is the wound in your lineage that has been traveling as part of your broadcast? And what is the gift underneath it? These are not rhetorical questions. I want you to actually sit with them for a moment, because the answer is specific to you, and the specificity is where the activation lives. Think about the patterns that show up in your life that feel too consistent to be coincidence. The specific ways you tend to shrink. The specific fears that activate without a clear present moment cause. The specific exhaustions that seem to come from somewhere older than your own experience. These are not character flaws. They are not evidence of your inadequacy. They are the broadcast signature of an inherited pattern that has been running without your conscious direction. And underneath each one, if you look carefully, there is a capacity. The person who always braces for loss carries the capacity to love with full awareness of impermanence. The person who over-explains and over-justifies carries the capacity for extraordinary precision and clarity of thought. The person who can't stop working, who rests only when forced to, carries the capacity for sustained creative output that others can't match when that energy is consciously directed. The wound is the shadow. The gift is the light. They come from the same source. Your job is not to eliminate the wound. It is to stop broadcasting it as your primary signal. Let's go even deeper into the quantum mechanics of this, because there is a layer of field physics that most people never reach, and it is the layer that explains why ancestral activation is not just emotionally meaningful, but energetically real. Quantum coherence is the state in which particles or systems move in coordinated relationship with each other. Their behaviors correlated in ways that cannot be explained by classical physics. In biological systems, quantum coherence has been documented in processes like photosynthesis, where energy transfer efficiency exceeds what classical physics would predict. The suggestion, still being actively researched, is that biological systems can maintain quantum coherent states long enough to use them functionally. In the context of your energy field, coherence at the quantum level means that the various frequencies being broadcast by your heart's electromagnetic field are moving in coordinated relationship with each other, rather than as a chaotic collection of unrelated signals. A coherent field does not just broadcast more strongly. It broadcasts as a unified signal rather than as noise. And a unified signal is legible to the quantum field in a way that noise is not. When your ancestral patterns are running unconsciously, they are adding to the noise. They are broadcasting at their original frequencies, which may be quite different from your conscious intentions, creating a kind of interference pattern in your field. You intend to broadcast abundance, but the epigenetic fear of scarcity pattern is broadcasting simultaneously. You intend to broadcast openness, but the inherited protection pattern is broadcasting simultaneously. The result is a field that is not coherent, not unified, not sending a clear signal. It is sending a complex, partially contradictory transmission that the quantum field reads as ambiguous. This is why people can do all the right things, set intentions, visualize outcomes, maintain a positive mindset, and still find that reality is not assembling around what they are consciously choosing. Because the conscious intention is only one layer of the broadcast. The unconscious ancestral patterns are broadcasting simultaneously, and they are not small. They have the weight of generations behind them. When you bring those patterns into conscious awareness and engage them deliberately, when you choose to amplify the gift and consciously release the fear frequency, you are not fighting the ancestral broadcast. You are integrating it. You are making your field more coherent by reducing the interference between your conscious intentions and your inherited patterns. The signal gets cleaner. The broadcast gets stronger. Reality has a clearer instruction to respond to. This is the quantum mechanics of ancestral activation. Not magic, not wishful thinking. Field physics applied to the biological reality of epigenetic inheritance. There is one more layer I want to show you before we move into the deeper practice, and it is the layer that most people find either most surprising or most immediately recognizable, depending on their own experience. Your ancestral field is not static. It is not a fixed set of patterns that you either carry or don't. It is a living, energetic inheritance that responds to your engagement with it. This is the part that makes tonight's activation specifically significant, rather than something that could happen any time with equal effect. Here is why. Epigenetic patterns are not permanent in the way that DNA sequences are. They are regulatory, which means they can be modified by experience, by environment, by sustained shifts in biological state. The research on this is ongoing, and the timescales are still being studied. But what is clear is that epigenetic patterns are far more responsive to lived experience than the underlying genetic code. This is precisely why they evolved as a mechanism to allow rapid biological adaptation to changing circumstances. What this means for your energy field is that the inherited patterns you carry are not a fixed sentence. They are a starting frequency, and sustained shifts in your biological state, particularly in the coherence of your heart field, can influence how those patterns express. Not erase them, not bypass them, but shift how they are regulated, which aspects are amplified and which are quieted. This is a long-term process, not a single activation. But every activation matters, because each one is a data point in your biological environment. Each time you bring your heart into coherence and consciously engage your ancestral inheritance, you are providing your epigenetic regulatory system with a new kind of environmental signal, one that says the emergency is over, the adaptation can evolve, the survival patterns can be updated. And there is something specific about doing this in a state of genuine emotional engagement, which is why the practices in this transmission are not intellectual exercises, but felt experiences. The epigenome responds to emotional state, high coherence. Positive emotional states have been shown to influence gene expression differently than stress states. When you engage your ancestral inheritance from a place of genuine reverence, genuine gratitude for the survival that made you possible, genuine intention to honor the gift while releasing the wound, you are not just thinking differently about your lineage. You are creating a different biological environment for the inherited patterns to exist in. That environment is what makes activation possible, not just tonight, but as a sustained practice that changes what your field broadcasts over time. Let me take you into the deeper practice now. This one requires more of you. It requires your full presence, your willingness to feel what comes up, and your trust that your field can hold what your ancestors carried without being overwhelmed by it. Find a position that is both comfortable and alert. Sitting is ideal. If you are lying down, bring a slight awareness of the spine, a quality of attention that says, I am here, I am present, I am not drifting into sleep. Begin with the coherence breath again, but this time extend it. Breathe in for a count of 5. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 7. The extended exhale is specific. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system more strongly than an equal in-out breath. And parasympathetic activation is associated with the heart rate variability patterns that characterize high coherence. You are not just breathing. You are deliberately shifting your biological state. Do this times. Count carefully. Let the rhythm become smooth. Now bring your attention to your heart center, the space behind your sternum, and imagine that space as a room with a door. Behind that door is your lineage, not the trauma, not the suffering, not the specific painful events, the essence, the distilled capacity, the light that was forged in the fire of their lives. Imagine the door opening, not to let something in, but to let something that has always been there become visible. The strength that crossed oceans, the love that survived persecution, the creativity that flourished under constraint, the faith that held when everything external had failed, the humor that found light in darkness, the tenderness that persisted through hardship. These are not inventions. Every lineage that produced a living descendant today produced someone who found a way to keep going when stopping would have been easier. You are the evidence that they succeeded. Your existence is the proof that something in your line was strong enough, resilient enough, creative enough, loving enough to persist. Feel that in your chest, not as a thought, as a sensation, the warmth of it, the weight of it, the way it makes your field expand slightly when you really let it land. Now, I want you to do something specific with that feeling. I want you to breathe it outward, not metaphorically. With your next exhale, imagine your heart field expanding, carrying that frequency of distilled ancestral strength outward from your chest in every direction. Outward into the room you are in. Outward into the field around your body. Outward into the electromagnetic broadcast that your heart is generating right now. You are not performing this. You are directing it. Your attention is a field-shaping instrument. Where you direct coherent attention in a high coherent state, the field responds. Breathe in. Gather the ancestral strength into your heart center. Breathe out. Let it expand into your field. Do this 10 times. Slowly. With full attention on the felt sense of expansion. With each exhale. What you are doing in this practice is not visualization in the ordinary sense. You are using directed attention in a coherent biological state to influence the informational content of your heart's electromagnetic broadcast. You are, in the most literal sense available to us, changing your signal, and the quantum field is reading that change. Now, I want to address something directly because it comes up whenever we talk about ancestral inheritance, and it deserves a clear and honest answer. What about the ancestors who did harm? What about the lineages that include perpetrators as well as survivors? What about the people in your family tree who were not the ones enduring oppression, but the ones enacting it? What about the complicated, morally ambiguous, sometimes genuinely terrible human beings who are part of the chain that produced you? This is a real question, and it deserves a real answer, not a bypass. The epigenetic research on intergenerational transmission has focused primarily on trauma and stress. But the principle is not morally selective. Patterns of behavior, of relating, of responding to power and powerlessness are transmitted through families in ways that are both cultural and biological. This means that harmful patterns are also part of what can be inherited. The tendency toward domination, toward cruelty, toward the specific blindnesses that allow people to harm others without registering it as harm. These are also in the field. Conscious, ancestral engagement does not mean uncritical, ancestral celebration. It means honest reckoning. It means looking at the full inheritance and making deliberate choices about what you amplify and what you refuse to carry forward. If your lineage includes harm doers, and most lineages do if you go back far enough, the work is not to pretend they weren't there. It is to become the place in the chain where the pattern stops. To be the ancestor who chose differently, who brought enough consciousness to the inherited pattern to break its automatic transmission. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most significant acts a human being can perform in a lineage. To be the one who sees clearly enough to stop passing forward what should not be passed. Your field broadcasts what you are, not what your ancestors were, not what your family has always done. What you are right now, in this moment, with the degree of consciousness you are bringing to your own signal. The ancestral patterns are in the field, but you are the broadcaster. You have the choice that your ancestors, constrained by their circumstances and their own inherited blindnesses, may not have had. use it. This is also an ancestral power. The capacity for honest reckoning. The willingness to look clearly at what has been passed forward and to choose deliberately what continues and what ends here. Some lineages have been waiting generations for someone to make that choice. You might be that person. Let me tell you about Elena. Elena grew up in a family where love and control were so intertwined that she had spent most of her adult life unable to tell them apart. Her mother had controlled her through love. Her grandmother had controlled her mother through love. And somewhere back in the lineage, someone had learned that love was only safe when it came with strings attached, when it gave you leverage, when it bound the beloved to you in ways that made leaving impossible. It was not malice. It was fear. The fear of abandonment, of loss, of being left alone in a world that had once been genuinely dangerous to navigate alone. But the fear had calcified into a pattern that looked like love and functioned like a trap. Elena had inherited both the love and the control. She loved fiercely and genuinely. She also, without fully realizing it, used that love to manage the people she cared about, to keep them close in ways that subtly constrained them, to make herself indispensable in ways that had more to do with her fear of loss than their actual needs. When Elena began working with her ancestral field, she did not start with the control. She started with the love, because the love was real. The love was the gift. The love in her lineage had kept families together through extraordinary difficulty. It had been the warmth that made survival bearable. It had been fierce and sustaining and genuine. The control was the wound, the strategy that had grown up around the love to protect it from loss. Elena's work was to consciously separate them, to broadcast the love without the control, to let the love be what it actually was, generous and freely given, not a transaction or a binding agent, to release the fear that had made love into a strategy rather than a state. This was not easy. The pattern was old and deep. But what Elena found when she began doing this work consciously was that the love in her field became more powerful, not less. When she stopped using it to manage people, when she stopped broadcasting the fear frequency underneath it, the love itself became cleaner and more radiant. People felt it differently. They moved toward her more freely because they were not simultaneously sensing the subtle constriction that had always been part of the signal. She became the ancestor who broke the chain. Not by rejecting the love, but by freeing it from the fear that had been its carrier. Her field changed, and the people around her felt it. And I want to ask you something here, because this work is most alive when it moves between us rather than in one direction only. Has there been a moment in your own life when you felt the warmth of your own field activating? When something in your presence shifted and you could feel it? When your light touched a room or a person in a way that surprised even you? Leave that in the comments. These moments of conscious radiance deserve to be witnessed, and the field we build together in this space is part of the activation. Now here is the piece about timing that I promised to return to, because it is specific and it matters. Your personal field has rhythms, not just the circadian rhythms of your biology, though those are real and significant. Longer rhythms, cycles of expansion and consolidation, of opening and integration, that move through your energy field in patterns that are partly biological and partly tied to the larger field cycles of the natural world. There are specific windows in these cycles when the access to deeper layers of your field, including the ancestral layer, is more open than at other times. Not exclusively open, but more permeable. The membrane between your conscious broadcast and the deeper encoded patterns is thinner. The work you do in these windows has more reach, more resonance, more staying power than the same work done outside them. These windows are not random. They tend to occur at transition points, at the edges between seasons, at the moments when the natural world is itself in a state of change rather than stable continuity. The energy of transition is the energy of permeability. When the field around you is shifting, the field within you is more accessible. You are in one of those windows right now. Not because I am telling you that you are, because something in you navigated toward this transmission in this moment. Your field, which is always reading the larger field, even when your conscious mind is not, brought you here. That is not coincidence. That is your energy system doing what it does, orienting toward what it needs. The activation that is available in this window is not available in quite the same way at other times. This does not mean you should feel pressure. Pressure is the enemy of coherence. It means you should feel the significance of the moment and meet it with full presence rather than half attention. What you do with your field tonight, the consciousness you bring to your ancestral inheritance, the deliberate choices you make about what you amplify and what you release will have a reach that extends beyond tonight. Because you are not just changing your present moment broadcast, you are changing the relationship between your conscious field and your inherited patterns. And that relationship, once shifted, does not simply revert. It carries forward. You are not just activating something for yourself. You are, in the most literal, energetic sense, becoming a different point in the chain. The ancestor that those who come after you will inherit from. What you choose to broadcast consciously tonight, what you choose to amplify from your lineage, and what you choose to stop carrying forward is already part of what you will pass on. This is not a burden. It is a clarification of what you are always already doing. You are always broadcasting. You are always, whether you know it or not, shaping the field that the people close to you inhabit. The question has never been whether you influence the fields around you. The question is whether you do it consciously or unconsciously. Tonight is a choice point, and you are here for it. Let me give you the final practice of this transmission. This one is about direction, about consciously pointing your ancestral broadcast forward, as well as claiming it in the present. Begin again with the coherence breath. You know it now. 5 in, hold 2, 7 out. 5 cycles. Let your heart settle into its smooth, ordered rhythm. Bring your hands to your heart again. Feel the warmth. Now I want you to think of someone who will come after you. It might be a child you have. It might be a child you will have. It might be a niece or nephew, a student, a young person whose life your field touches. It might be an imagined future person, someone you will never meet, but who will nonetheless exist in a world that your field has helped shape. Hold that person gently in your awareness, not with pressure or responsibility, but with warmth, with the same quality of love that the best of your ancestors held for the ones they would never meet, but whose existence they were working to make possible. Now feel the ancestral strength in your heart, the distilled capacity, the gifts that were forged in the fire of your lineage, the endurance, the love, the creativity, the faith, the grief that became wisdom, the protection that became discernment. Whatever is most alive in your field from this transmission. And with your next exhale, consciously direct that frequency forward, not just outward in all directions, forward, into the field that the people who come after you will inhabit, into the energetic environment that your broadcast is already shaping. You are not sending them your wounds. You are sending them your gifts. The conscious, separated, activated capacities that you are choosing to amplify, rather than the fear frequencies that were their original carriers. Breathe in. Gather. Breathe out. Send forward. Do this 5 times. Slowly, with full attention on the felt sense of transmission. What you are doing is real. Your heart's electromagnetic field is genuinely reaching beyond your body. The coherent, intentional broadcast you are generating in this moment is genuinely different from the unconscious noise of inherited patterns. And the people whose fields intersect with yours will feel the difference, not as a thought, not as something they can name, but as something in the quality of your presence that makes them feel more possible, more capable, more themselves. That is the deepest ancestral power. Not strength or endurance or resilience, though all of those matter. The capacity to make the people around you feel more possible, to broadcast a field that says you can, you are, you belong, you are enough. Not because you are saying those words, but because your field is radiating the frequency of genuine, activated, conscious radiance. Your ancestors, at their best, did this for each other. In the most difficult circumstances, in the darkest moments of their lives, the ones who survived were often the ones who found someone whose field said, "We will get through this." Not because they had evidence, because their broadcast was coherent enough to create a field of possibility in the midst of impossibility. You carry that capacity. It is in your biology. It is in your field. It has been broadcasting unconsciously for your entire life. Tonight, you are making it conscious. And a conscious broadcast is not the same as an unconscious one. Not in degree, in kind. Now I want to go somewhere that most transmissions on ancestral energy never go, because they stop at the personal level, at your field, your inheritance, your activation. But there is a layer beyond the personal that is specific to this work. And it is the layer that explains why ancestral activation has a quality of urgency that other field practices do not carry. When you change your broadcast at the ancestral level, you are not only changing what reaches you, you are changing what moves through you in both directions simultaneously. This is the part that is genuinely different from ordinary intention setting or coherence practice, and it is worth sitting with carefully. Think about what a lineage actually is at the energetic level. It is not a line. It is a living web. The people who came before you are not simply behind you in time. Their influence trailing off as the generations pass. Their encoded patterns are present in your cells right now, in this moment, as active regulatory information. The epigenetic marks left by your great-grandmother's experience of famine, or your great-grandfather's experience of forced migration, are not historical artifacts. They are biological, present-tense realities in your body. They are shaping your cortisol response, your immune tone, your nervous system's baseline, your heart field's broadcast right now. This means that when you bring those patterns into coherence, when you consciously shift the frequency at which they are broadcasting, something unusual happens in the field. The shift is not only forward, into the people who will come after you. It is also, in a sense, that is difficult to articulate, but that many people feel very clearly when they do this work, backward, not in time, which cannot be changed, but in the living field of inherited information. When you change how an epigenetic pattern expresses in your body, you are changing the most current iteration of a pattern that has been running through your lineage for generations. You are, in effect, updating the living end of a very long thread. There is a specific felt quality to this. People who do deep ancestral coherence work often report a sensation they describe as something settling, not just in themselves, but in something larger than themselves. A quality of completion, as if a circuit that has been open for a long time has finally closed. As if something that has been waiting, not impatiently, but with the patient weight of accumulated time, has finally been received. That sensation is real information. It is your field registering the shift in the epigenetic pattern's broadcast. The inherited frequency, which has been running at its original stress-encoded amplitude, encounters a sustained, coherent field state and begins to reorganize. The settling you feel is the reorganization. It is not metaphorical peace. It is biological order arriving in a system that has been running in a state of low-grade alarm for longer than your lifetime. Let me be precise about what this reorganization involves at the cellular level, because the precision is what makes this practice sustainable rather than a single emotional experience that fades. Epigenetic regulation works primarily through two mechanisms: DNA methylation and histone modification. DNA methylation involves the attachment of methyl groups to specific sites on the DNA strand, which typically silences the expression of the genes at those sites. Histone modification involves changes to the proteins around which DNA is wrapped, which can either loosen or tighten the wrapping, and thereby increase or decrease access to the genes in that region. Both mechanisms are responsive to environmental signals, including hormonal signals, which are themselves downstream of emotional and nervous system states. When you are in a sustained stress state, the hormonal environment of your cells, characterized by elevated cortisol and reduced parasympathetic tone, sends signals that tend to maintain the methylation and histone patterns associated with stress-adaptive gene expression. The survival genes stay active. The recovery and growth genes are suppressed. This is the biological logic of the stress response. In a genuine emergency, you want your resources directed toward immediate survival, not toward long-term repair and flourishing. When you shift into a sustained coherent state, the hormonal environment changes. Cortisol drops. Parasympathetic tone increases. Oxytocin and DHEA, which are associated with positive social bonding and cellular repair, respectively, rise. This new hormonal environment sends different signals to the epigenetic regulatory machinery. The patterns that were being maintained by the stress state environment begin to receive different instructions. This is not a claim that one coherent session rewrites your epigenome. It does not. Epigenetic change at the level of stable pattern modification requires sustained environmental shifts over meaningful periods of time. But what each coherent session does is provide a data point, a signal to your biological system that says the environment has changed, that the emergency conditions that required this particular pattern of stress-adaptive gene expression may no longer apply. And the accumulation of those data points over days and weeks and months of practice is what produces the measurable shifts in biological state that researchers studying heart coherence have documented. Improved heart rate variability, reduced cortisol, enhanced immune function, greater emotional regulation. These are not spiritual claims. They are published findings from peer-reviewed research. And they are the biological substrate of a changed broadcast. Your field broadcasts your biological state. When your biological state changes, your broadcast changes. When your broadcast changes, what reality assembles around you changes. This is the chain of causation, and it is specific enough to follow from one end to the other. Now, I want to introduce you to a fourth person, because the pattern I want to show you here is one that many people carry, but few recognize as ancestral in origin. Her name was Sophia. Sophia was extraordinarily gifted at beginning things. She had more ideas than she could count, more projects started than she could finish, more creative visions launched than she could sustain. She was luminous at the threshold, at the moment of inception, when a new thing was still pure possibility and hadn't yet encountered the friction of execution. And she would consistently, reliably abandon things just before they reached completion. She had been told her whole life that she lacked discipline, that she was scattered, that she needed to learn to follow through. She had tried every productivity system, every accountability structure, every habit framework available. None of them held. The pattern was older than any system she could impose on it. What Sophia discovered when she began working with her ancestral field was something she had not expected. Her lineage had a specific relationship with completion. Several generations back, on her mother's side, there had been a period of sustained persecution in which anything that was completed, anything that was finished, and therefore visible and substantial and real, was at risk of being taken. Homes that were built were seized. Businesses that succeeded were destroyed. Relationships that were formalized were targeted. The survival strategy that had emerged in response was to keep things perpetually unfinished, to never complete anything enough to make it a target, to live in a state of permanent becoming rather than arrival. The strategy had worked. The people who employed it had survived. But the pattern had encoded itself into the family field as a deep biological resistance to completion, a nervous system response that activated at the threshold of finishing something as surely as a threat response activates at the sight of danger. The feeling Sophia experienced just before she would abandon a project was not laziness. It was an inherited alarm. It was her biology reading the approach of completion and broadcasting a signal that said, "This is dangerous. Pull back. Stay invisible. Don't finish." When Sophia understood this, the self-blame dissolved. Not because she had an excuse, but because she finally had accurate information about what was actually happening in her field. The pattern was not a character flaw. It was an inherited survival response running in a context where it no longer applied. She was not in danger of having her completed work seized. She was in a world where completion was the threshold of impact, of visibility, of the very things she most wanted. Her work was specific. Every time she felt the familiar pull to abandon, she learned to pause and bring her heart into coherence first, before doing anything else, not to push through the resistance with willpower, which had never worked, but to change the biological state in which the resistance was operating. From a coherent state, she would consciously acknowledge the inherited alarm, name it as ancestral rather than present moment, and then make a deliberate choice about how to respond to it. Not suppress it, not fight it. Acknowledge it, thank it for the protection it had once provided, and consciously choose to complete anyway. Over months of this practice, the alarm began to quiet. Not because she had eliminated the epigenetic pattern, but because she had consistently provided her biological system with evidence that completion did not produce the catastrophe the pattern anticipated. The data accumulated. The pattern's amplitude decreased. Her field stopped broadcasting the completion is dangerous signal quite so loudly. And the interference between her conscious desire to finish things and the inherited resistance to finishing them began to resolve. She started completing things, not all at once, not without effort, but consistently enough that her field changed. And as her field changed, the quantum field's response changed. The projects she completed started finding their audiences. The work she finished started having the impact she had always wanted it to have. Reality was assembling around her new broadcast, the one that said, "I am someone who brings things into being, not someone who lives perpetually at the threshold." The gift in her lineage was the capacity for perpetual creative inception, the ability to see possibility everywhere, to generate ideas with extraordinary fluency. That was the gift. The wound was the resistance to completion. Sophia kept the gift and learned to move through the wound. And her field became something genuinely new, something her lineage had never broadcast before. The combination of creative abundance and the willingness to let things land. That is what it looks like to become a new point in the chain. I want to return now to the mechanics of the heart field, specifically in the context of ancestral transmission. Because there is a detail in the heart math research that is particularly relevant to what we are doing tonight, and that most people who work with heart coherence never hear about. The heart's electromagnetic field is not only broadcasting outward, it is also receiving. The heart is exquisitely sensitive to the electromagnetic fields of other people, and, by extension, to the fields of the environments it inhabits. This is why you can feel someone's emotional state before they have said a word. Why you can walk into a room and know immediately that something is wrong. Why the presence of a calm person can genuinely shift the nervous system state of the people around them. These are not perceptions happening through the five senses. They are field-to-field communications. Electromagnetic information being received and processed by the heart before the brain has registered anything consciously. In the context of ancestral inheritance, this receiving function of the heart is significant. The epigenetic patterns you carry are, among other things, the biological residue of your ancestors' field states. They are, in a very real sense, the encoded memory of what your ancestors' hearts were broadcasting under the conditions they faced. When you bring your heart into coherence and consciously engage those patterns, you are not only changing what you broadcast, you are also changing how you receive. A coherent heart field is a more discerning receiver. It is better at distinguishing signal from noise, at reading the actual content of the fields it encounters, rather than simply reacting to their surface qualities. This is why people who develop sustained heart coherence practice often report changes in their relationships and social environments that go beyond what their changed behavior alone would explain. They are not just acting differently. They are receiving differently. They are picking up information from the fields around them that they were previously missing or misreading. The person whose coherent field reads the genuine warmth underneath someone's defensive exterior, the person who can feel the fear underneath someone's aggression and respond to the fear rather than the aggression. The person who walks into a room and knows, not as a thought, but as a felt sense, exactly what quality of presence is needed. These are not psychic abilities in any supernatural sense. They are the natural consequence of a more coherent receiving field. And they are directly relevant to ancestral activation, because the more coherently you can receive the information in your own inherited field, the more precisely you can work with it. The more clearly you can distinguish the gift from the wound, the signal from the noise, the capacity from the fear that was its original carrier. Coherence is not just a transmission upgrade. It is a reception upgrade. And both matter when you are working at the ancestral level of your field. There is a practice I want to give you that is specific to developing this receiving capacity in the context of ancestral work. It is different from the practices we have already done, and it requires a slightly different quality of attention, less directing, more listening, less broadcasting, more receiving. Find your coherence breath again. 5 in, hold 2, 7 out. But this time, as you settle into the rhythm, I want you to soften your attention rather than focus it. Instead of directing your awareness toward something specific, let it open. Let it become receptive rather than active. This is a different mode of heart engagement, and it takes a moment to find, especially if you are more comfortable with the directing mode. The quality I am pointing toward is something like the way you listen to music when you are not analyzing it, but simply letting it move through you. Not passive, actively open, receiving rather than reaching. From this receptive state, bring your awareness to the space of your chest and simply ask, without urgency, without demand, what does my lineage most want me to know? Not what you think it should say, not what you hope it will say. What actually arises when you create a coherent, receptive space and genuinely listen. What comes may be a feeling rather than a word, a sensation in your body rather than a thought in your mind, a warmth or a weight, or a quality of presence that is hard to name but unmistakable in its reality. It may be a memory, yours, or one that feels like it belongs to someone else. It may be an image. It may be a single word that lands with a weight disproportionate to its size. Whatever comes, receive it without immediately interpreting it. Let it be what it is for a moment before you try to understand it. The interpretation can come later. The receiving is what matters right now. Stay in this receptive state for as long as feels right. There is no correct duration. The practice is complete when you feel a natural settling, a sense that what was available to be received in this window has been received. Then gently return to the directing mode. Gather the distilled essence of what you received, whatever quality or capacity or knowing arose, into your heart center, and breathe it outward consciously as part of your broadcast. You have just completed a full cycle of ancestral field engagement. Coherence, direction, reception, integration, transmission. This is the complete practice. Each element is necessary. The direction without the reception misses what your field is actually carrying. The reception without the direction has no outlet, no way to become a changed broadcast. The integration is what makes the shift stable rather than fleeting. And the transmission is what makes it more than personal, what makes it a contribution to the field that extends beyond you. This is the work. Not once, not on special occasions only, but as a regular practice that deepens over time as your relationship with your own ancestral field becomes more fluent, more precise, more genuinely yours. Here is what I want you to carry forward from this transmission, not as a concept, as a lived orientation to your own field. Your aura is not a static thing. It is a dynamic broadcast that is shaped by your biology, your emotional state, your conscious intentions, and the inherited patterns encoded in your epigenome. Most people know about the first three. Almost no one works consciously with the fourth. And the fourth has the weight of generations behind it. The moment you become conscious of your ancestral broadcast, the moment you can feel the inherited patterns as patterns rather than as simply the way things are, you have a choice you did not have before. Not to erase the inheritance, to curate it, to consciously amplify the gifts and consciously release the fear frequencies that were their original carriers. This is not a one-time practice. It is an ongoing relationship with your own field at its deepest layer. Every time you bring your heart into coherence and consciously engage your ancestral inheritance, you are providing your epigenetic regulatory system with new environmental data. You are telling your biology at the cellular level that the emergency is over, that the survival strategies can evolve, that the gifts can be accessed without the wounds as their carrier. Over time, this changes your broadcast, not all at once, not in a single activation, but steadily, persistently, in the direction of a field that is more coherent, more intentional, more genuinely yours rather than simply inherited. And what you radiate, reality assembles around. This is not a promise of ease. A more coherent, more genuinely you field does not guarantee a life without difficulty. What it does is ensure that the difficulty you encounter is real difficulty, the kind that belongs to your actual path, rather than the manufactured difficulty of a field that is broadcasting invitation to challenges it doesn't actually need. It means that what reaches you begins to match what you are actually radiating, which is the distilled strength of your lineage, consciously directed, rather than the unconscious fear frequencies of patterns that were never yours to begin with. It means that the people who are drawn to you are drawn to your actual field, not to the confused signal of conflicting broadcasts. And the people who are repelled by your genuine frequency, which is the most efficient protection available. A coherent field does not need walls. It simply does not resonate with what is not aligned with it. Your bloodline remembers you, and now you are remembering it back, consciously, deliberately, with the full weight of your attention and the full coherence of your heart. That is the activation that was waiting for tonight. There is a question I want to leave you with, not to answer right now, but to carry with you into the days ahead, letting it work on your field the way a good question always does, by keeping you slightly more awake than you would otherwise be. The question is this: if the people who come after you could feel one quality of field from your lineage, one distilled ancestral capacity that you have consciously activated and are broadcasting forward, what would you want it to be? Not what you think it should be. What you actually want it to be. What feels most alive in you, most genuinely yours, most worth passing forward? That answer is your ancestral power, not in the abstract, specifically, precisely. The one frequency that, when you broadcast it consciously, changes what reaches you and what you leave behind. Find that frequency, amplify it, make it the signature of your field. Because your field is always broadcasting. The only question has ever been whether you are the one directing the signal. Tonight, you are. Your bloodline remembers you. Your field is active. Your signal is yours to direct. And the quantum field is listening. If this transmission reached something deep in you, consider returning to it during a quiet morning before the day takes hold, or in the stillness just before sleep, when your field is most receptive and the ancestral layer is closest to the surface. And if someone in your life is carrying more than they know, someone whose light needs reminding, sharing this with them is its own act of activation. When another person becomes conscious of their own field, both auras strengthen through resonance, and the collective luminosity grows. That ripple is real. Shine, not because you should, but because that is what you are. That is what your ancestors forged in you. That is what has been waiting in your field your entire life. Waiting for exactly this kind of conscious recognition, this kind of deliberate claiming, this kind of luminous, grounded, fully awake radiance. It is yours. It has always been yours. Now you know it. Welcome to the deepest layer of your own light. Welcome to the ancestral power that has been moving through you since before you were born. Welcome to the conscious broadcast of a field that carries the distilled strength of everyone who survived long enough to pass something forward. Welcome to your own radiance, fully claimed, consciously directed, and finally yours to give.